So we started to discuss the Qur'an. Now, I didn't know much about it at the time, other than the basics. It was the holy text of Islam and so on and so forth. And looking into the Qur'an, I find that it's not a book. It's a series of verses. A series of verses that were revealed in Arabic, that were spoken from the mouth of a man, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who couldn't even read. He was unlettered. And the things that this book discusses, the language that it uses, is so powerful and so eloquent, and yet so precise and straight to the point, that it's not just a series of stories. The Qur'an is what? It's a book of law. Have you ever taken a book of law, of British law, off the shelf and start reading it? It's not like the Qur'an, even in English. It's official paragraph 1.2.3, the plaintiff says da 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 da. It's like that. It's really official language. Do not go through a red light until it turns green and da 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 da. But the Qur'an, a book of law, isn't like this. The language within it is so powerful. And this book is revealed at a time when the Arabic language itself was pretty much at its apex. As we know, there were poets in Mecca and Medina at the time who could speak the most eloquent Arabic, tell the most fantastic stories. And one of the signs that the Quraysh used to try and show that they were number one was that they had the best poets. And they actually used to send them to challenge Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the Qur'an issued to these men a challenge, because as we know, a lot of people tried to refute the Qur'an. The Qur'an said, look, if you disbelieve, it's in Surah Al-Baqarah, if you don't think this book is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then all you have to do is create a surah like what's in this book. Just one chapter like what you see in this book. Because if somebody else can do it, that means it came from a man. If no one else can do it, that means it must have come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now I thought, okay, that's interesting. I wonder if anybody managed it. I look into it. Of course, nobody did. There were many challengers who attempted it, but nobody did. That was back then. How about more recently? And so if any of the brothers are familiar with Orientalism and some of the movements that took place when the British Empire and some of the colonial powers went into the Muslim world, what they tried to do was to cut the Muslims' relationship with the Qur'an. And the way they tried to do this was to meet this challenge, to disprove the Qur'an. So there are entire institutes that were set up to refute the language of the Qur'an and imitate it. None of them could do it. There were professors who were paid hundreds of thousands of pounds. They became Muslim because they couldn't do it.